Do we want to hate on young Bobby? Did anyone? I know we recorded early today, so maybe you guys didn't see it because it was released this morning.
What?
Murder or
no? Bobby Adolph did her Mark Cuban episode was released today.
I
haven't been keeping up.
Damn, they're cranking those out.
I liked her, and I know I'm just starting to continue on the hate train.
they gonna little Terrio her ass out.
Time is ticking. Clock is on.
Whose daughter is this? Like, I get the whole TikTok thing. She's a TikTok star or whatever, but like, come on.
Wow, look at that. They got them sitting on the ground with Voss. His feet are dirty.
Oh, come on. Get some mic stands, will you?
Dirty ass foot.
Word. They said they were in a garage and there was oil on the ground.
Yeah, she's running this I don't have any money bit to the fucking ground with every guest.
Yeah.
The bit was hilarious with Drake. It was kind of funny with Yachty. She's running it into the ground now.
And she does have money.
And she said she has no ads or anything and then stopped to do a SeatGeek ad.
And then there's the Voss water. Obviously, only two things in frame.
Like, because who the fuck goes and buys Voss? Like, that's very much an ad.
And Mark Cuban kind of snitched on her. I'm halfway through when she was like, oh, I don't really have any money. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm $20K in debt for this podcast.
Cap.
And he said, well, you have an incredible agent and great people behind you, so you'll be fine. So I was like, oh, there. All right. He snitched.
Yeah.
Well, we saw that she was signed at WME and all that shit. But
we knew this already, man. Like, come on, man. This is.
You have to hear Mark Cuban's tone in which he says it. Like, he's like, oh, no, you have everyone behind you. Like,
I'm just, and I know we shouldn't say it because we have a podcast.
Because she's white?
No, we have a podcast and
she's white.
But I am kind of like, I'm off the whole sit down interview guest shit like that. How many people are going to interview people?
And what was also funny is Mark Cuban was
like how many shows are going to just interview you? Like everybody's being interviewed.
We have like 5 episodes coming out.
I was going to just say, I'm like,
but that was for the love of Hip Hop 50.
Yeah, that's rare for us though. Like we don't do that.
It is. I'm just saying that to play devil.
That was like that's a whole standalone thing.
You would interview Mark Cuban?
I would love to interview Mark.
I'm not saying I wouldn't interview Mark.
I want to hear his saying that
Somali
runner.
Her podcast, this podcast is strictly interview guest based.
Yeah.
That's a lot of podcasts and shows.
And that's my point. How many of these do we need? How many more of these do we need?
More. We need more.
We need more shows with people interviewing people.
How often do you watch these interviews?
Never.
I don't watch these interviews.
That's my point.
So why do we need more of these?
Because other people watch them. People watch you guys' interviews.
She had somewhat of a new angle. But again, to your point, which I gave you your flowers for, it's beating a dead horse at this point with the dry humor shit.
It's just...
Mark Cuban even talked about the podcast he was doing and kind of touched upon that with her and said to her, I don't want to compete with people like you as far as interviewing A-listers.
Yeah.
I want to
because to what Maul is saying too, like the market chase for trying to interview the A-listers is not going to be as lucrative or successful as these people think it's going to be.
I want the mics to be put down. There are entirely too many podcasts out these days.
I mean, we
need to.
I don't think we have the right to say anything about.
Well, we were innovative. We were, industry leaders.
It's okay for us to say it. Y'all don't look at the internet sometimes and be like, not everyone needs a mic.
You mean in that way? I thought you meant mic stands.
Everyone that watches this show says none of us need a mic. I know I certainly don't, according to Reddit.
Well, you're a racist. So
yeah, definitely.
You definitely don't need a mic.
But racists have a lot of microphones.
They usually find mics, so ta-da.
They have the most mics.
It's crazy how you racist towards black people, but your microphone is black.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, a black person can have your job.
Where do y'all think this girl
I was thinking about that. What does he identify as?
Bobby.
Depends what white girl he's talking to.
That's true.
How eclectic she is. If she said she's never fucked her first Muslim, he's Muslim. He's just, he's Hillary Clinton. He's whoever they need me to be.
I'm the Drake of podcasting.
You're the Drake of podcasting?
Where do we think this girl's going to go? We have 3 interviews back to back to back. They didn't even let the Drake one marinate for a fucking week.
Insane how
the Yachty one was trash. This Mark Cuban one is okay, but she didn't do anything different. Mark Cuban is great.
She's going to sit down with Zendaya next. Somebody like
You're
that.
not putting Zendaya on no dirty ass floor. That's not happening.
This is the first time she's done an episode on the floor.
I think a lot of the A-list celebrities that think they're funny amongst the people that like they hang out with that aren't their real friends that tell them they're funny are going to want to do this girl's podcast to show the world that they're funny and they're not going to be funny. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
So you're next?
100%. Well, you guys tell me I'm not funny. What are you talking about? I don't have a bunch of yes men. You guys all say my jokes are trash. So does the audience. No one has ever come up to me like, yo, your jokes are great. I have zero yes men in my life. I have nothing but no men.
Mal said, really? Yo.
And nobody's ever told you it was funny?
I told you were funny before.
That doesn't count.
Before, because you can make jokes, but making jokes and being funny are
Wait, pre-W9?
No. Definitely after.
No, I've
Definitely after.
Definitely no.
See, look at the laughs you belted out. So funny, that W9 joke.
Once people start getting paid, the jokes become funny. Like, oh my God, your personality.
I told you you were. I'm sure I have. I don't.
Well, no, there's been a few meet and greets, but I think they were just socially awkward and didn't know what to say. Like, funny. Let's do a photo.
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't get the this podcast. I mean, shout out to her though. You know, she's doing her thing. But I don't know. I'm just always trying to think of like what's next. What's the sit down interviewing guests, interviewing celebrity shit is like, okay, cool, we get it. People can run ads through it. That's what all this shit is about. Sponsors want to know how can they run ads, how many views you're getting from these celebrities. People want to just see these celebrities talk. But like, what's next? Like, what's the new thing? What's the next thing that's happening, that's coming? Like, what does that look like? What does that sound like?
Well, I feel like I think we're in it right now as far as just trying to interview, not exactly interview, but talk to celebrities in a way that's like non-traditional. Like even what you guys did with the go-karting, which is not technically an interview, right? But it's something that shows, because everything now is about celebrities being human, right? They have social media now, they're more accessible. So people like feeling like celebrities are their friends or like they know them. So when you guys take people go-karting, that's cool. When Carisha makes her guests play,
she shouldn't be number 7.
Her fucking game where she's asking them very, very invasive sexual questions and pulling information like that out of them. That's why people enjoy her podcast.
Top 10.
It's just,
Should be number 7.
You guys can shit on Carisha, but she pulled some shit. Y'all do. Y'all be shitting on her.
I just didn't think she deserved to be number 7. I think she has great content.
No, I agree.
Okay. Let me get my conspiracy bag. I don't think the planting is working the way they thought the planting was going to work.
Elaborate.
No. You got Drake, you got Yachty, and you got Mark Cuban.
In Armani White.
The first ad she should be doing is fucking AT&T. Her only ad, and I do think the Voss water is one.
It is.
Was a SeatGeek ad that all podcasters get. I think they went out and pitched to a lot of brands, and a lot of brands said no. And then they went back to the pod world and got SeatGeek for her first one. And I would only do this on Patreon because I would shout out to SeatGeek. If you want to code NewRoryNMal, we're down.
Are you trying to say that this is not successful?
There's a difference between success and long-term success. Of course it's successful. You have Drake, Yachty, and Mark Cuban. There's not a single world where that's not a successful 3. But I think the seeds they're trying to put, WME went out there and said, hey, we got Drake, we got Yachty, Mark Cuban's our next one. And I don't think the brands bit with the money they thought they were going to fucking get. Because I think a lot of brands have seen the shift in podcasting and what their ROI is with shit and think it's not a lucrative thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought they could just get 3 huge people and a white girl that's funny. And it didn't work the way they thought it would because they did a SeatGeek ad. And I could be completely fucking wrong because next episode, she could have Drew Barrymore and she could have Verizon as the sponsor. SeatGeek, I don't fucking know.
I just think it's, I was going to say.
Of course, no, SeatGeek is huge.
SeatGeek,
so
you guys are missing my point. Not money value. Different. SeatGeek does podcasting.
I'm sorry. I guess
they didn't plant this white girl to go get more BetterHelp ads or more SeatGeek ads or more Blue Chew ads or more Celsius ads or more ads that are already in the podcast market.
I know
they thought they could go out and get the big fish to go get fucking Volvo. The next one, she could sit with Drew Barrymore in a fucking Volvo.
Excellent.
I don't think the shit bit the way they thought it did.
Well, I'm sure that's where they're going with the whole garage floor thing. They're going to go to a card sponsor after that. Like, you don't have to sit on the floor if you have a Ford.
NewRoryNMal.
Thank you for watching a clip from one of our Patreon episodes.
For bonus content, go over to patreon.com/NewRoryNMal now.